Hey guys, Cochran53 here again. Just doing the rod and reel video that I promised. As you can see, I've got a pretty good lineup. I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible, but yeah, let's jump into it. First one is my newest setup, well, second newest. It's my Powell Jared Lintner Wacky Rig Specific spinning rod, and on it I've got a Shimano Symmetry with 6-pound Invisix, Seaguar Invisix on it. This rod's 610 medium action, or medium power, excuse me. It seems like it's going to be a great rod and reel. I haven't gotten field testing done, but I love Powell, so I'm sure I'll love that setup. Next one is my Bass Pro Shops Extreme 6'6", medium heavy, 4-piece rod. This is like the only rod I had for probably 5 years. The reel's not the same reel I've always had on it, but the reel is Pflueger Supreme. Great reel, super light considering how big it is. I think it was also under $100 when it was on sale on Tackle Warehouse. Really nice reel. I've used this on different setups, and I always keep this even if I sell the rod. Next one, Falcon Buku 7-foot medium action. This was my crankbait rod for quite a while. Now I might actually start using this for shaky heads. It's got like the perfect tip for a shaky head reel or rod. We'll just have to see what I can do with it. But if not, I can always go back to throwing big jerk baits or some crankbaits on it too. On it, I've got an original Chronarch. I actually bought this off of Steve Von Brandt from the Bass College. If he's ever selling anything on there and you're on the website, I strongly recommend doing business with him because his goal is just to help you out. So he gives you really good deals on anything he sells. But yeah, can't wait to try this reel out with this setup. Next up is probably for one of my favorite techniques. It's a 7-foot Micro Magic Ducket, 7-foot heavy power with a Shimano Curado 200E7 with Sunline FX2 braid. The thing I use this the most for is frogging. I love frogging. It's easily my favorite, or at least it was this year, favorite technique. I just got some of those new Jackal Iobi frogs, and I cannot wait to try those out. Too bad it's all frozen over here. When that all clears up, we'll get out there and I'll make some videos on those frogs. Next up, I've got another Ducket Micro Magic. It's a 6'9" medium heavy. I used a lot of like finesse jigs, soft plastics. I've thrown pretty much everything on here except hard baits. On it, I've got a Shimano Sitica with 30-pound braid right now. I'm probably going to switch that out, but I don't know. It's a great setup. You can do really whatever you want with it. Next up, I've got a Shimano Kumara 6'3" medium power. This is pretty much all I use for jerk baits anymore. The shorter rod makes it easier to control, and you're not slapping the water, slapping your boat with the rod tip, so it keeps it from breaking. On it, I've got a Shimano Curado 50E, super light, great reel. Next up, got the St. Croix Mojo Bass 7-foot medium heavy power spinnerbait rod. And this I use constantly with spinnerbaits, chatterbaits. I'll even throw some topwater with this. If it's kind of a little bit heavier cover, I'll throw something on this, like a big buzzbait. The thing I really want to try is there's just a video up on Tackle Warehouse with Bub Tosh and Paycheck Baits, and he made a weedless chatterbait with the Paycheck Baits nose job, so I recommend checking that out. On it, I've got another Shimano Sitica, 30-pound braid, great reel. Next up, G Loomis GL2 6'6" medium heavy with a Quantum Smoke 150. If I'm taking just like one reel out, or one rod and reel setup out, and just throwing a bunch of soft plastics or whatever, this is what I'll take. It's just a great all-around rod and reel. And then next up, my flipping stick. Another one of my favorite techniques, flipping and frogging. Awesome, awesome, awesome. On this, it's a Powell 765, so it's a 7'6", medium heavy, even though it feels stout, more like a heavy power. On it, I've got a Daiwa Viento with the old twitching bar. I actually love this reel. A lot of people don't like the twitching bar, but as long as you don't try and reel it in with the twitching bar, if something hits it, it shouldn't break on you. It's a pretty nice little setup. And on it, I've got some Sunline FX2 braid, 60 pounds. But yeah, this is a great setup. If you're wanting to get into flipping and pitching, I strongly recommend the Powell rods and any kind of reel like this. It's really nice setup for that. Next up, let's see if I can get it. My deep cranking rod. It's another Jared Lintner technique specific. It's deep cranking, as you can see by the picture there. It's a 711 medium heavy, but it's a glass rod, and I tend to like glass rods for cranking a little bit better. The parabolic action is just hands down better than a graphite rod. On it, I've got a Daiwa Exceller crankbait, so it's the 4-9-1. For under $100, I think it retails for $80. It's a great reel. When I originally bought it, I was like, oh, I'll just use this and move up when I can, but no, so far it's been great. Nothing wrong with it. Very smooth, perfect speed for crankbaits. And last but not least, my newest setup. It's another Powell 703 glass medium heavy power crankbait rod. This will be my all around. I'm going to use this for crankbaits, top waters, maybe some heavy spinner baits if I don't have the Shimano or the St. Croix along with me. But yeah, this is probably going to end up being my favorite rod and reel. On it, I've got a 200 E5 Curado, and I think there's just mono on it right now. But yeah, can't wait to try that out once the weather gets nice, of course. Yeah, that is it for my rod and reel arsenal. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to get on www.thebasscollege.com. You get free lures with any of your Tackle Warehouse orders, so check them out. Thanks, guys.